Today on the show, there's been a science breakthrough that, if true, is the biggest thing to ever happen in our lifetime.
So why does the government just want us talking about UFOs right now? That makes me want to not care about it. But is that what they want me to do?
Plus, how do you become friends with the guy when you're a hopeless introvert?
Gotta keep things light here on the podcast. All this and much more on episode 13 of the Blimey podcast. Jordan, I got recognized again this week.
So did I.
What?
This week's question is, are you more of a dog person or a cat person? Why?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Blimey Cow podcast. My name is Josh.
And I am Jordan. And Josh, where did you get recognized? Sorry,
Well,
I'm jumping ahead.
Okay.
I'm just so curious.
I'll tell you in a second. Thanks to our supporters that support BlimeyCow.com. And a special thank you to Isaac's Galaxy, who just became a supporter this very week. And
join the Blimey Cow Clips channel.
Go
subscribe.
at Blimey Cow Clips, okay? If you want to see bite-sized versions of this big podcast, Lord knows this is going to be a
doozy of an episode.
Doozy episode. There'll be lots of great clips for it. So go to youtube.com/@BlimeyCowClips. Subscribe to that channel. We're nearing 300 now, I think. We might be over 300 by the time this goes up. Okay, yes. Here's where I got recognized, Jordan.
All right.
There I am in UPS, the UPS store.
Really?
I did. And the woman behind the register said, "Are you Josh from Blimey Cow?"
And then you started hiding your address.
No. They all know me at UPS.
Oh, okay. So you just finally just built up
I've
the courage.
sold a lot of board games. I've been in there a lot. She was a current viewer. She said, "My husband loves Messages." And she was
funny.
She was honest with me. She was like, "He wants to watch Messages all the time." And I'm like, "Let's watch something else now." So this was a current viewer. This wasn't a "you were my childhood." This was a "I currently love your show."
How old was she, do you think?
Probably my age.
Okay. Wow. See, this is great.
Yeah.
Messages is for everybody.
I think, look, I hadn't been recognized in years. And now in the past month, I've been recognized I've been recognized twice.
What do you think's going on?
I think Blimey Cow's back.
The podcast has revitalized us. It's incredible. I got recognized.
Where'd you get recognized?
Dollywood. I didn't say this in the other episode, but she came up to me right as we exited, and she was like, I've watched Blimey Cow since I was a kid. I would love to get a picture. So we got a picture with her, and she was incredibly nice. And I said, I'm proud of what we do.
I'm proud.
I'm proud.
You said that to her? You said, "I'm proud of what we do." And then he took my picture, and then he said he was proud of what he did. And then he walked away. I'm going to start using that line. I'm proud of what I do.
We got a big show, Josh.
We got a
what are we doing
really
next?
big show. Hey, we got a question of the week. Jordan, last week we asked the party people.
Not party poopers.
Not the party poopers.
People. The party poopers are the ones who
people.
didn't comment.
That is correct. But, you know, this look,
Yeah.
this was a big time hit question.
It was.
A lot of people had something to say about
Well,
this.
you even did a poll, and it got like 1.5 thousand.
Did you see the results of the poll? Did you look?
Oh, I looked.
Okay, here was the
Unbelievable.
question. Would you rather be able to read a book in a day, any book in a day, long, short, whatever, or write a book in a day?
Novelette.
A novella.
Yeah, novella. I thought that this was going to be like 80% that I want to write books.
49% read any book in one day, 51% write a book in one day.
Now, Josh, what do you feel the obvious answer is?
I thought that it made so much more sense to want to read any book in a day.
That's what I thought too. Because you can absorb the information like Neo in the Matrix. I learned Kung Fu.
Right.
And then you can take the time to then be like, all right, let's try and write this. Because you could write a bad book. That's what some of the comments were like. Well, is it a bad book or is it a good book?
How many books do I want to write? Like, how much do I have to say? Okay, this was beneficial to me one time, maybe twice. But read a book, any book, in one day.
I think
that's for your life.
Well, if you write a book in a day, you're instantly going to be famous. I think in some people's minds. But
no, you're not.
I can foresee writing a bunch of just terrible books. Now, if it was write a book that blows up in a day, and every book you write is a banger, I'm writing a book every day.
Yeah, but even then, it's like after a week, I I wrote 7 great books. Okay, on to the next chapter. But there's always a new interesting. It's like, I don't know. There's some level of arrogance, hubris, to think that, oh, I have so many important things to say. I'm just gonna write books all the time.
Well, it could be this, Josh. There could be a lot of people out there who have tried to write a book. I'm assuming Blimey Cow viewers have tried to write a book, and it's been frustrating. So they said, screw it. I wish I could just write this in a day.
Look, I get it. I'm not saying everybody who picked that is arrogant. I'm just saying that's me. I'm thinking 2 steps ahead here, and I'm thinking, okay, I can write any book in a day. Okay, that's fun for a week, and now I'm like, oh shoot, I really wish I could have just kept reading.
Well, I thought the same thing, but let's see what other people said.
Kayla says, definitely I would write a book in one day.
What is her reasons?
One of the joys of reading is how you can experience the story for days or weeks and look forward to unwrapping more of a story each time you sit down to read another chapter.
Okay, so she's thinking of it more as like reading fiction, and she wants to enjoy the process. So it's like, well, I'm then going to just write a book in a day if there's 2 options. Yeah. Okay, so there you go.
And then Rebecca says, I would love to be able to read a book in a day. Growing up, I was the homeschool kid who checked out a giant pile of books from the library each week and always ran out of stuff to read. Now, as a mom, I listen to a lot of audiobooks instead, but I wish I had the time to sit down and immerse myself in a new book every day. Boy, if Audible still sponsored us, that would have been a great segue.
Yep, but too bad.
Too bad for them.
Too bad for them. Maybe they'll be back.
New question.
Are you more of a dog person or a cat person, and why? And make it a fight in the comments so we get more.
A dog fight or maybe a cat fight?
A cat fight.
Okay, Christian meme review. Here we go.
Josh, let's look at your Christian meme.
I picked this a long time ago, so I don't even remember what it is now.
Oh,
yeah, this is funny. This is funny.
Wow, what a powerful, inspiring song. Never seems to get old, does it? Folks, for the 23rd time today, that was God's Not Dead by the Newsboys. Hi, everyone. I'm your host, Matt. And as always, you're listening to Positive, Encouraging K-Love. I want to take a quick break from the decade-long fundraise-a-thon we've been holding that has no end in sight to give a quick shout-out to our listener, Tammy from Texas. Now, Tammy hasn't always been a K-Love listener. Nope, not at all. In fact, there were times in her life when even she says Jesus himself wasn't number 1. And thanks to some digestive tract issues she's been having since 2019, she's had some trouble going number 2. Doctors couldn't seem to find a cure. That is until Tammy found the power of positive, encouraging K-Love. Now, with a whole lot of prayer and a little bit of laxatives, the doctors expect Tammy to make a full recovery. Holy crap, Tammy, that is awesome. Congratulations. Coming up next, folks, you guessed it. It's God's Not Dead by the Newsboys.
Oh man, those guys are funny. As you well know, I am under constant threat and constant attack by the Liquid Death zealots. I mean, it's incessant. DMs, comments, they won't leave me alone.
You're like a Kennedy at this point. You're just watching your back.
No, I am. And I realize there's no middle ground with these people. It's either you don't know what it is like you don't drink it, or you are a Liquid Death fanatic who will defend their satanic marketing to your last dying breath. And so for that reason, I do not trust it. So I decided today to end the war this morning. And I made a meme to end the war.
Okay.
And I wanted to show it to you right now.
Okay, let's take a look.
And he led me to a high-back chair as he meticulously began to unfold his scenario with equal patience. I was given a giant leather-bound book jammed with newspaper clippings. Thus the reason for this witches. I said, Isaac, I'll not compare God's miracles versus Satan's. The issue's not God's kingdom and Satan's lair. The real comparison is the condition of your soul and the condition of mine. And you puppet of the devil, that I will compare. One day they're coming for you. The time will come when you'll be lying in bed,
I hope you covered your
like
face.
a dying
No,
animal.
no,
When those spirits lay
Don't put
claim
this
to
on
the
the
rights they
show.
own to your soul.
Nobody wants to see it.
Then
No.
the room will grow dark, and the most hideous evil faces you've ever seen will come flaming out of the floor with a yell. The vile informants that promise reincarnation will claw your spirit and victoriously drag your soul to hell.
Oh.
That was my last dying throw to end it all.
Okay.
It needed to end.
Yeah, I'm sure that's gonna end the harassment.
You know, I think that that's something that people who watch that as children see that as not a joke. It's a reality. But like I showed it to Sarah today. She had never seen it before. And I was like, no, Sarah, I know you get scaredies. I don't know if you should watch this. She was like, no, I'm an adult now. I was like, okay. And so she saw it and she was like, ha! And just thought it was kind of like funny. Like, because it looked so cheesy. And I was like, Sarah, what are you talking about? Like,
This is the scariest
yeah,
thing. It's like showing somebody like one of those old B movies from the 30s or whatever, like the Wolfman or something, and they'd be like, no.
Godzilla's going to tear down.
And King Kong is gonna swoop in and climb this building and take this woman hostage.
Exactly.
I don't want to hurt. I don't want to scar you. No, I'm good. Are you okay?
That's what I realized. Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Truly our worst and best Christian meme review segments. Okay, let's play a game. The game is homeschool riddles. These aren't just riddles. These are riddles that homeschool kid would tell you.
All right, okay.
So I'm going to give you the riddle. You're going to try to solve it yourself.
I'm not good at riddles.
What kind of coat is always wet when you put it on?
A raincoat?
Oh, well, a coat of paint.
I like yours better.
How many bananas can you eat if your stomach is empty?
I don't know.
Just one. After that, it's not empty anymore.
Oh, that's clever,
You gotta think about
homeschooler.
it.
Yeah,
Think about it, okay?
That's a pretty homeschooled one.
Just think about the homeschool kid making this face at you while they're saying it. What belongs to you but other people use it more than you do? Belongs to you but other people use it more than you do.
Your words against you. Like the liquid death
Calm
fanatics.
down. The liquid death. Your name.
Oh, that's a good one.
Okay.
That's a good one.
What letter do you remove from the word 6 to turn it into an odd number?
What letter
Take
do you
a letter out of the word 6 and then it turns into an odd number. It's the letter S because then it becomes IX, which is the Roman numerals for 9.
Oh.
A woman shoots her husband, then holds him underwater for 5 minutes. Next, she hangs him. Right away, they enjoy a lovely dinner. She took a picture of him and developed it in a dark room.
Oh. That is a very, very homeschool joke.
All right, Jordan, I want you to get at least one of these. What makes you young?
I want you to get one of these. What makes you young?
Adding the letters NG.
Oh, my Lord.
All right, Jordan, I think if you're going to get one, you're going to get this one.
Yeah.
In 1990, a person is 15 years old. In 1995, that same person is 10 years old. How can this be?
Say 1990, they're 19.
In 1990, a person is 15 years old. In 1995, that same person is 10 years old. How can this be?
Oh.
And this isn't a riddle. This could really happen.
Really?
This could really happen.
I don't know, Josh. I can't even begin to guess that one.
It is because it is 1995 to 1990 BC. We went back in time. I want you to get this one. Get ready. Listen closely. What is greater than God? More evil than the devil. The poor have it. The rich need it. And if you eat it, you'll die. And the answer is not liquid death.
Okay, that was going to be my default. I've heard this before and I forget the answer.
What is greater than God?
It's nothing.
Oh.
Is
That's
that
the answer. Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay.
Nothing is greater than God. Nothing except liquid death is more evil than the devil. The poor have nothing. The rich need nothing. And if you eat nothing, you'll die.
See, the rich need nothing. I would say this is a secular joke, so I don't even think it's homeschool at all. The rich need a lot.
The rich need God.
They need God.
But is God greater than God? This doesn't
Yeah,
make sense.
it doesn't make sense.
I've got one more for you.
Okay.
I start with M, end with X, and have never ending amounts of letters. am I?
It starts with M, ends in X, and has unlimited letters.
Never-ending amount of letters.
I don't know.
A mailbox.
Oh, good one, Josh. That's a good one. I'm going to say that one to the nieces and nephews.
You failed completely at
I'm
homeschooler riddles.
Horrible at riddles. I cannot figure them out. It's not how my brain works.
Thank you for playing. Jordan, how much is it killing you that we got to get through all these other segments before you can talk about LK-99?
Oh, it's killing me.
Read the question. Read the message.
Howdy, Mr. Jordan and Josh. I'm a
Howdy.
100% introvert who strives to have good communication skills. I overall succeed with other women by asking them questions. But when it comes to men around my age, the difficulty is amped up 100-fold because I don't know what to ask. What's worse than stale small talk? I start dwelling inside my head, getting self-conscious, and freaking out that my social nerves will come across as me liking the fellow. Well, I don't know why girls feel this way. Because Sarah felt this way too. She felt like if she talked to a guy, that they will think that she was flirting with them. If she kind of like...
Because it probably happens once or twice and it gets in your head.
If I say only a pipsqueak's hi, then cue the heavy silence. Surely there's some extrovert men in this world, but they aren't who I generally come across. The silence often turns weird. Although these awkward debacles are rather amusing after a little time and space, they're messy in the moment. How can I be more confident with the opposite gender, even when their expressions turn abnormal? Please help this introvert out of her overanalyzing head. Sincerely, small talker. She's saying that she struggles to talk to guys because it feels like they're going to think that she's flirting, but then when she says even just a word like hi, then they just look at her like she's flirting. Like she's crazy. Like,
what's going on? What's happening?
I think that she's just around weird people. That's odd. Well, I want to know does she say how old she is? This sounds like somebody who is younger, because this sounds like younger male behavior.
Yeah.
Find more normal people or just wait it out.
I say embrace the awkwardness. Is that what you mean by wait it out? Like if they
Yeah,
if
this
you
is just
say
a part
hi
of
and
it.
they're just like, be a normal person and talk to me.
Yeah, you're right. It's like you need to have your brain needs to change. Understand the reality of the situation, which is that they're being the awkward ones, not you. And once you realize that, when you say hi like a normal person and they just stare at you like, just keep acting normal. And then maybe you'll even help them because they're nervous. Like you're both nervous. So if you are just like, hey, I'm gonna be confident, hi, they won't be nervous anymore because they feel your confidence and they'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, this is fine. Okay, we're talking, yeah, okay.
Just own it. Don't feel weird that other people have a hard time talking just because you're introverted and have a hard time talking. If you're putting forth an effort, what else can you do?
I think that's a great...
Yell?
Yeah. I think that's a great skill to have, is just embracing silence. If you do that and you feel confident in the silence, people will open up so much more to you because they know that there was an awkward silence and they know that you stayed around.
Yes.
And
That
you
is
still
so
want to
true.
talk to them.
That is so true. And a lot of times just waiting that half beat before you feel like you have to fill the silence by like saying something else.
Yeah.
It's not
The silence isn't even that long.
It's not even that big of a deal.
Yeah.
It might feel weird for a second, but I agree with you. It makes people feel more at ease. Like, oh, okay.
There can be awkward silence
They're
and
cool
it's okay.
with this being quiet for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Easy. Done.
Easy. That was an
Fixed.
easy message.
Fixed.
Let's get to LK-99.
Okay, here we go.
I've never spent more time on Twitter in my life than right now because all of this news is for some reason breaking on Twitter. It's been awesome following these people who know a thing or two about superconductors, but in particular, these superconductors that are at room temperature is the holy grail of physics in the world. If we can find that, it's just things are going to be cheaper, transportation is going to be better.
Pretend that people don't know anything about what you're
What is a
talking about. What
superconductor?
happened? What happened? Not
Oh.
what's a superconductor. Forget that. Just what happened.
There were a few people in South Korea who have been working on the idea of a room temperature superconductor that they've kind of known about. It saw some blips on a graph, basically. So they've been working on this for a long time. Then all of a sudden, in the middle of the night, we get a paper published to a very weird journal that isn't peer-reviewed or anything, so it's odd. And it says, hey, we found a room temperature superconductor.
And normally superconductors have to be in very cold environments.
Yeah, extremely cold, like almost like absolute zero, like 0 Kelvin or whatever.
And all a superconductor is a substance that has no resistance to conducting an electric current.
They've done things where they put stuff in like liquid, I think helium, and this was in like 1913 or whatever, a long time ago. And this machine just ran for years. And it just it didn't ever run out of energy.
But up to this point, it's had to
be under extremely low temperatures
Right.
or under extremely high pressure, like where the
Right.
Titanic is.
Right.
Like that amount of pressure.
And so it's a thing that has no resistance to an electric current, but it needs electricity in order to power it, if that makes sense, because you have to have it in like somewhere where the temperatures are so cold.
Yeah, so you have to
can't
put
just
electricity
exist.
or
Right.
energy into the coldness to
Right.
be able. It's not usable right now because there's MRIs use superconductors and things like. But these things are so expensive and massive, so it's just kind of dumb. So there were some guys in South Korea who published this paper in the middle of the night. And it was kind of error-filled and seemed like it was rushed out, which is odd. But what they were showing kind of made sense. And so the internet and Twitter just blew up with this information. And then all of the scientists and all of these people kind of came together. And, I mean, they're trying to replicate this in the United States. It's allegedly been replicated in China.
Okay.
But, you know, we never know if that's real or not. But there is video and stuff. It's a huge topic in China. We're not sure yet at the recording of this.
This is all happening so rapidly and quickly that we actually delayed recording this podcast episode,
hoping that the guys in the U.S. who were trying to replicate it basically in their garage.
There's a lot of question and speculation right now about what's going on. People are trying to replicate it. But if it were real, if this was real, what does that mean for the average person?
It would basically mean that we would be able to have supercomputers in our hands. We would be able to have batteries that never die.
People are talking about like flying cars and stuff.
Yeah, like flying cars. You would be able to have.
That's what I told Kelly. I was like, this is the thing that gets us. If it's true, this is the thing that gets us to the Jetsons.
Yeah. It gets us to there would be not much of a need to drill oil and gas. It would all change to this. And it would eventually lead to fusion, to be able to do fusion power, which is how stars are powered, which is like the holy grail of energy, because you can just make it out of hydrogen. I think water.
Could it be used for weapons, Jordan? Okay, I just saw Oppenheimer, so I know that's the first thing they want to do.
I don't even know. I'm so not interested in
I mean,
that.
if you have something that can just hang on to electricity, basically.
Probably.
Energy or whatever. I mean, you could just have robots just like fighting forever.
I guess. I don't know.
Shooting forever. What's your defense against
never
that?
Stop coming. The cool thing about this material is that it's made out of extremely cheap material. It's made out of copper and lead. And when you combine those two things in a very specific way, a very, very specific way, as in like they don't exactly. I think even the guys who publish these papers don't even know how it truly works. They just kind of fell into this because they were doing the experiments, and then the tube that they were working with cracked at the perfect time. Like it's a crystalline structure, and so there's a million, billion, trillion different possibilities of these atoms being in these right spots. It's like, think about Plinko. When you drop it, imagine if there is a thing going this way and you drop it, it's normally going to hit and go left. But a few of them, or you need all of them to hit and go to the right. Yeah. So the chances of that happening are very, very little, and only happens a few times when you do these experiments. So there's trillions of possibilities of this. And so a computer, you couldn't have enough computers running to find this particular exact thing. So when they were doing the experiments, the tube would crack at this perfect time to make this superconductor, which is just like a freakish miracle that this happened, because it went from having a trillion options to all of a sudden having like a solar system of options, because they noticed, okay, this is kind of a superconductor, like this is kind of working. So we know, even though we don't really know what we did or what happened, we can
we
get
have
closer.
Some parameters
yeah, there's
now.
we can see things in our peripheral vision, which makes me believe that it actually is real, that these guys truly believe that they have something, because there's all this infighting of who did what and why and stuff. So it's very interesting for that reason. They ran computer models on this particular crystal structure that they kind of got honed into by that tube breaking at the perfect time, and they realize, oh, now using the computer model, we actually can decipher. It looks like there could be a possible room temperature superconductor within those crystalline structure. It's complicated to explain.
I feel like you did about as good a job as could be done at this current moment. With everything.
It's
coming out
it's just wild.
as quick as it is.
And the real crazy thing about this is that this is accessible to anybody. Like if you could just use stuff that you have at your house almost. Like you just need to get a couple of things, and if you were a scientist, you would be able to do this from your home.
Oh.
There's a lot of people that think that LK-99, which is the crystalline material, they think that this isn't like the holy grail. It's not the end all be all. It's not going to be the thing that changes the world, but it's the first step in like, oh, okay, in 10 years, we'll be able to develop this and hone this down to where it's like actually changes the world.
My word. You know, I was talking to Dad about it the other day, and he said, you know, this happened right when you guys were born. Somebody overseas said, we figured out how to do this, and nothing came of it. Mm-hmm. And my question is, like, why lie about that? I mean, do you just think that you have it figured out, and you just don't? And you get ahead of your skis a little bit?
The reason I believe that these guys actually believe what they're doing is that
because all the infighting that's happening. Yeah.
And they put it out in a way literally saying, you can test this now. Like you can test this tomorrow and have an answer in 3 days.
Is it still true? I know that you had told me at some point that part of the infighting was that the two guys, when they realized they had something, decided, you know, we don't need the guy that's giving us the funding. We can just figure it out ourselves. And so then that guy, the one that they kind of kicked out, was the one who like put the error-ridden thing together to be like, I want to be a part of it. I got to put something out there. So these guys could have just kept working on it forever. Yeah. And this guy who they kind of maybe painted as like the bad guy could have actually maybe been the good guy.
Yeah, it's that aspect of the story is really tipping to the other direction now. When the story first broke, the guy who leaked the information, his name is Quan, he was looked at as the villain, like, oh, he's just trying to get credit even though he didn't do anything. Because there were 3 names on the paper that he released, and there's only 3 people who, and you're just putting this together, but there's only 3 people that can share a Nobel Prize.
Oh.
And there were 6 people that were published on the paper that they put out the next day after Quan put out his paper. Then he was like, no, forget that. The other guys, the 2 other guys were like, forget that. It was 6 of us who worked on this. And then they tried to fix the paper that he put out. Again, it's just all speculation, but it's odd. It's odd. But I'm appreciative of Quan because these guys have known about the superconductor thing for like 2 or 3 years. Like as soon as COVID happened and all the crazy lockdowns, like literally right when that happened, they figured out what they have now, and they've kind of been keeping it to themselves for years now.
Yeah.
And so now Quan was like, hey, we're putting this out to everybody to get this figured out, and also I'm going to get credit for it. So I don't really care if he did it or not. It's kind of helpful to everybody.
Jordan, all throughout COVID, I told you, look, Jordan, things, you don't know how, you don't know what's going to happen, but things reset themselves, and everything's going to be okay. And so I can tell when you talk about this, you have this little twinkle in your eye that says,
well, the tides have turned.
Yeah, I think this is the thing because it started right during COVID.
Well, I think if it really is real, it is pretty crazy that it happened because we all kind of know what's going on with the energy thing, and now they're calling it, well, I don't even know if I can say this on here without getting, at some point, we're in the conspiracy theory section at this point.
We still have to talk about the UFOs.
Okay, well, the conspiracy is that everyone's scared about
I don't think that's a conspiracy to say. So you're talking about climate change. Yeah, that's a mechanism of control that they use.
Yes, and now at this point, now that we see what they did with COVID and shutting everything down and controlling everything,
Right.
well, they're still hanging on to to climate change.
Right.
And so the thought is, well, at some point, if they've already taken control with COVID, couldn't they just say, "Hey, you can only drive this many miles"?
We have a new emergency, right? And I mean, I don't think that's a conspiracy to say. Like any sort of measures that would be taken on that topic would be top-down control things. It's not just like a voluntary. Come on, guys, let's do better.
No.
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
But that's why this is what I told you. That's why this is. If this is true, would be so interesting because they would have to immediately come up with some new mechanism of control.
Because now they wouldn't have control of energy because it's so freely available.
Because everybody would just say,
and it's clean energy. It's
everybody
clean.
would say, "Well, we fixed it. It's all clean now." And they, well,
and it's free.
So then, what becomes the new thing?
Yeah, that's the thing.
What becomes the new thing?
I know. So it was perfect that it happened right at COVID because if it really is real, it was the exact antithesis or anti whatever to what they were doing. All of a sudden it's like, no, now we're going to take the control out of the government's hand by making energy just even more ridiculously available.
This is why I try not to worry about things in life because it's like you can't even imagine what the solutions are going to be. What if you could just create energy, electricity just for free on your own?
And it would never run out.
It's just a whole new world. That just becomes a whole new world all of a sudden.
Yeah, you would have cars and vehicles that pretty much just you never had to. Would have like a Tesla that you would never have to charge the battery.
Right.
Basically, that's kind of the extreme of this. If it was like a flying car or something like that, you would be able to. That's kind of what maybe this is opening up.
I think they'll have to redirect to some kind of war. They'll say, "Well, look, this new technology it's a Pandora's box of our enemies are going to use this against." I mean, it's going to be Oppenheimer again. It's going to be like, we got to get ahead of this. We got to create. So, and then there becomes like this fear of like we're hearing reports that they're creating this super weapon with this new technology. Like it'll be that kind of thing.
Yeah,
if it's all true, then that would be.
I know that's what I was saying. If it's true, we're only going to hear negative things about it. So let's see. I hope that we explained that well enough.
I think we did about as good a job as a YouTube podcast
could possibly do.
I think you did great. Thank you for explaining that.
Yes.
All right, I've been up since like 1:15 a.m. off and on, set an alarm because that's when the guys were over here in the U.S. were going to do the replication process.
Pretty tough stuff. You can probably grab it relatively hard. Oh, that looks angry.
They actually put out the video on Twitter. This video that you're watching now.
Oh boy, there it is. You can see it standing up on its side. Okay, now remove the magnet. Now it lays flat. Okay, now put the magnet back in. See it orientate 90 degrees to the field. Okay.
They replicated LK-99. So the world, I mean, we're still at the beginning stages of this, and it's only parts of the rock, LK-99, have this superconductivity property because it's such a weird crystalline structure. Now they just have to like actually make that part of the crystalline structure bigger, if you know what I mean. So they need to figure that out. He's going to send the rocks to SCU, Southern California University, I'm assuming, and they're going to analyze it. And this is just wild. I can't believe it. I'm so excited. So tired.
I don't think we delve too much into conspiracy, but now I have some conspiracy stuff to talk about. Jordan, why all of a sudden, after all these years of being like, no, UFOs aren't a thing, come on, you idiot, why all of a sudden does the government want us talking about UFOs?
I don't know, but what's hilarious is I'm following all like the top science accounts right now, and I haven't heard, other than mockery, one person talk about the UFO thing.
I just like that there's like so much mistrust with the government now that now the government's like, no, there are UFOs. Everybody's just like, okay.
Oh yeah, I mean,
Sure.
I haven't even thought about it. All I've thought about is this, which is totally independent of anything the government is telling me. It's hilarious.
Well, so they actually had a hearing. There was some kind of whistleblower, a former U.S. intelligence official, told the congressional panel that he is absolutely certain that the federal government is in possession of UAPs, which I believe were unidentified aerial I don't remember what the P stands for. Projectiles? I don't remember.
I thought he said that they actually had pieces of the aliens.
There were non-human biologics that were found at a crash site. Now, he did not bring them to the panel, but he had heard about them or had seen them or something. He told the panel that he knows of multiple colleagues who were injured by these UAPs. But the problem is, Jordan, this is why nobody else has come forward. He says that there's a stigma, and that creates a silencing of potential witnesses. People who would say, I actually saw it. They're afraid of being stigmatized.
But I feel like the government is the one who has stigmatized that.
Right.
And now they're the ones who aren't.
Right. No, we would tell you about it.
So now they're coming to the government saying, we feel like there's a stigma around us saying, but they're telling the people who created the stigma.
Right.
And now they're listening to them.
Right.
I don't know. It just seems so hokey.
So this according to The Hill, following the UFO hearings, social media is abuzz with misinformation, Jordan, okay? While witnesses and lawmakers discuss the issues of UFOs, the government has not issued an official confirmation of alien life or what was said at the hearings. So The Hill wants us to know, no. There were hearings, but the government gave us no official word that we have UFOs, okay? So it's all fake news. It's not that I don't know what to believe. I don't know what they want me to believe.
Yeah, that's what's weird.
Do they bring these guys up against their will? Like, oh, we can't stop them from talking, so we're going to listen to them out. But make sure that there are articles that come out that say it's all fake news. Like, do you want me to believe in UFOs or do you not want me to believe in UFOs?
I don't know. I'm so...
Just tell me what you want me to think so I can think the opposite.
Yeah.
I'm happy to believe in UFOs. I'm happy to not believe in UFOs. Either way, I will sleep just fine tonight.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I just don't understand.
Do you believe in UFOs?
I believe in LK-99. That's all I care about right now. If LK-99 is real, it's the way we're going to combat the aliens. So that's why we need to develop it.
I think there's a cool sort of beauty to the idea that we really, truly are the only place on Earth that has the kind of life that we have.
You mean place in the universe?
Place in the whole universe.
Place on the whole
Earth,
planet.
The whole planet Earth. I think there's a cool beauty to that, but it won't shatter my universe if we ever find out, oh no, there are UFOs who are kind of like us. They have arms and legs. They talk a different language. Like if it was something like that, I'd be like, I mean, that is crazy.
I think it's funny that we're always trying to look for UFO or for aliens who look like us. In my mind, it's like, why does something have to even come close to looking like us?
Right.
Why can't it just be a blob that is that thinks and can relay information to other blobs that think too, and they have free will or whatever, but we don't know that they do because they're blobs.
Or they just like exist in another dimension of some kind.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's like we're so one-sided that we're like, they need to have arms and legs and big heads.
It's like the LK-99 thing. We only have one frame of reference for things, and so we can't even consider like you can't. Your brain doesn't have the capacity to imagine.
Yeah.
The things that could be.
Anything that comes out of the government like this, I just don't believe it.
Right. Like
so
I said,
I don't think this makes me believe less that there's UFOs.
I know. It's like why?
But it is funny
just
that
tell me if just tell me that what happened to JFK. That's what I'm most interested in.
I know. It's like they're talking about all this random stuff, but like let's talk about something that matters.
Oh, okay. All right. Moving on.
Not to just keep harping on LK-99.
I knew you were gonna bring it back to this.
Well, it's not even LK-99 that gave me hope, even though it did. But it's the community around the whole thing on Twitter. You know, normally people are just screaming at each other, obviously. Right. It's weird. It almost feels like the old internet. It's like, I don't care what's in your bio. What information do you know?
Yeah.
And everyone's talking. I'm actually tweeting these accounts, and they're like answering me. The scientists, these really larger accounts are like favoriting my tweets, just like talking to them, from China to Russia to the United States to like just India. Everyone's talking to each other, trying to get the latest information and figure out what more we can do to propel this forward. Yeah. And it's really cool. It really does feel like the old days of the internet.
Before the internet sort of became this postmodern.
Yes, this is exactly
what I mean? Where there was still like a hope of the internet of like, oh, what's this thing gonna be? Now everybody just knows, oh, this is the place you go to.
Exactly. That's exactly what I told Sarah.
Harp on people and watch dumb videos.
I told Sarah, I said, I think the reason that our society is getting so weird or just feels so hopeless is that we feel like we've achieved everything.
Right.
Like, there's only going to be a little minute.
100%.
And so
we think we've got it figured out.
So what I realized when I was looking up the LK-99 stuff, and there was such camaraderie and everybody was just kind of getting along and everything for the most part, I thought, this is interesting. It's like everybody all of a sudden feels like, oh, wait, we don't know anything.
Right. And we could be actually a part of something huge right now.
I don't care about our differences. Like, we're all seeing ahead.
Right.
We're all seeing the same thing and the same potential, and we all want to get there together. There's like this unity, and it's much like,
if you feel like you got there already, all you can do now is fight.
Yeah, you're not working together to get someplace.
If you've all gotten to the top of the mountain, all you can do now is fight to stay at the top of the mountain.
You're not working together to keep
keep climbing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's what I was telling Sarah about Twitter. I was like, it's weird. It feels like the old days of the internet where there was still a little bickering, but it was generally very nice, and people were talking to each other a lot. And it's for that reason, because we were all creating what the internet was going to be. It was this exciting time of 2005, 2006. So we're putting videos, so people can create videos and put stuff on, and we're on MySpace, and what's it going to turn into?
Yeah.
But now it's like, okay, so Facebook is like the greatest social media, I guess, and we're all just going to fight on here all day long, and Twitter.
Twitter is X, and Facebook and Instagram now have threads. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Let's start fighting again. So
a new place to fight.
Yeah. So it gave me hope that this made everybody all of a sudden believe, wait, we don't know anything.
Jordan, I'll happily charge my iPhone battery from now until the day I die. I hope this is real for you.
I know.
I want this to be real for you. When I pray at the end of the night, God, please make LK-99 true for Jordan. Jordan, speaking of these kind of crazy, almost spiritual level miracles that we're talking about, do you know anything about what happens when a baby is born? Because when the baby is in the womb, it's got all these amniotic fluids and stuff.
Yeah,
it can't breathe.
Yeah,
right?
It's just getting oxygen from the mother.
Right. Through the placenta.
Holding its breath.
Do you know? No, that's the thing. It's not. The baby is not holding its breath.
It's just its lungs are being, but without being itself breathing. The
so
child breathing.
We got an ultrasound the other day, and the tech who was doing it said, "Oh yeah, he's exercising his diaphragm." And that got thinking, so I was asking, and I said, how is he breathing without breathing? Dude, it is the craziest freaking thing you've ever heard in your whole life. Basically, I'm going to dumb this down super. I wrote down some notes, but I think I'm just going to kind of dumb this down.
That's fine.
Essentially, there is a lock that keeps things from going to his... So
they can't
the
breathe
ambient
he
can practice his breath, but it can't get down into his lungs.
Okay.
When he comes out, the first thing that happens is the air pressure changes, and all of a sudden the temperature of his body changes, just the environment. And so what does your body do when all of a sudden you feel like you can't breathe?
You turn on a cold shower, you're immediately like you
and that
motion
snaps it.
Oh, interesting.
And so that's why that's why they're like smacking the. I mean, they don't really, but you ever heard that phrase, like you smack the baby to get it to cry? They're trying, because as soon as the baby cries, that means the baby is breathing. I was reading an article that said the first couple of breaths your baby takes are probably the hardest breaths they will take in their whole life, because they're all of a sudden having to learn a new skill in like 2 seconds to stay alive. And so almost every baby does it.
Wow.
Isn't that wild? And so then this flap that snaps basically just attaches to the trachea or whatever it is, and just over the course of a day or a week or whatever, just gets absorbed into it. It's just everything
crazy,
involved in a baby being born is the craziest thing you've ever heard of in your entire life.
Yeah, I've wondered that. Like, what do they do when they're in all that fluid? Like, how are they not inhaling it?
I guess it's going in, but it's not going into the lungs. And I always wonder about that. I was like, what happens if the baby like accidentally takes a breath in there? Okay, that was it for me. That gave me hope. It was just another confirmation
that LK-99 is real.
That LK-99 is real. It's got to be real. God help us all, please, for my brother. All right, we recommend. Jordan, what do you recommend this week?
You go first. I had something, I totally lost it. blanking.
You recommend everybody go join the Twitter communities for LK-99.
I've got if you want the Twitter list of all the people talking about it, I'll send it to you.
Okay, great. I would like that.
We'll put the link in the description.
There you go.
We will.
Okay, good. I recommend that if you do a lot of work on the computer, that the next time you need to buy a computer, you just buy a very powerful laptop.
We both have done that.
You made the switch first, and then earlier this year I did it, and I have not looked back. It is the best. This computer right here, this is my computer. This is what I edit all my videos on. It is a souped up.
You're able to move it around, then you can hook it up to another monitor and have two screens.
Exactly.
And close up to the library.
You just get one of those boxes that you plug all of your peripherals into, and then it's just one cord, one lightning cable into this thing. And what made me think about it was the other day we lost power, and because I have one of those boxes that like keeps the electricity running for just a amount of time. I didn't even realize what happened because the laptop keeps running because it's got a battery in it too. Yeah. And then one of my monitors went off, but one stayed on, and so I was like, oh right. So I was just able to unplug it from the power and just keep working.
I didn't think about that. Yeah, when I was using the iMac, if the power went out, I was screwed.
Yeah.
I couldn't use it.
Yeah. I felt apprehension about doing it at first too, but after a month or so, you just have to be very careful with it. Don't put any drinks around it.
Yeah, I know. Seriously.
But it's great.
Yeah.
That's what I recommend. What about you?
I would suggest going and watching the Carmen music videos. Just go to the channel and watch. I would start with No Monsters. If you want a real scare. And then jump over to Witch's Invitation.
By the way, thanks for your witch's invitation.
Wow.
If you want to not be able to sleep. And then if you want to feel a little bit better.
The creme de la creme.
Watch the one where he turns into a crusader and is like in the classroom.
Yeah, what is that song called? Great God.
Yeah. Great God. Watch that one. I watched them all today.
There you go. Is that it? I think done.
That's it.
Okay, we should probably just have a whole segment dedicated
to Carmen.
No, to the superconductor stuff, because this will be
I'll update you guys.
Okay.
Well,
that's what I'm saying. It can't just always be in good news, bad news. It was quite a stretch this time.
We didn't even say if it was good news or bad news.
I don't think we needed to. I don't think we needed to.
Yeah.
All right. The UFO thing should have gone in good news, bad news. Superconductor could have gone in conspiracy theories.
That's true. Ish.
It's only a conspiracy theory until they tell you it's a conspiracy theory, and that's when you know it's true.
True. Very true.
Thank you all for watching.
Bye-bye.